So what does complicated grief mean? Isn't all grief complicated? Well, in some ways it is. But as coaches and as counselors, therapists, other people will look and listen to your story about what you lost in your life. And we begin to determine how long it happened. It may have happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and you still haven't been able to rebuild relationships or rebuild other parts of your life. Maybe emotionally, you still find it difficult to manage your feelings. Like you might just still be breaking down in tears at the very thought of your partner or somebody that you lost. So time is an element. If it did happen a while ago, if your loss happened a month ago, yeah, you might be crying every single day. So we look at the element of time, and we look at the elements or the ability that you have demonstrated to heal, to function, to heal, to move on in some way. And we look at your ability to accept the loss. So if this loss happened years ago and you're still angry and bitter and blaming other people and maybe blaming a hospital or doctors or, looking for places to place that blame, then that's another indicator that this is pretty darn complicated for you. It has taken over your life in some ways. So when grief has been demonstrated in your life a long time ago and you still cannot move on and rebuild your life in some way, whether it's rebuilding it with other relationships in your life. And I'm not suggesting that if you lost a spouse that you have to remarry. I'm not saying that at all. But you should be able to develop relationships or to carry on with the relationships that you've already built in your life, not to lose them. And we also want to look at your own ability to function day to day. If you've lost your job because of the anger and the grief that you've experienced, if you've lost something financially, maybe you're homeless, maybe you have been able to carry on just on a very minimal level, not fully engaging in life at the same level that you were before your loss. So these are different indicators that we look for. That ability to just try to find another way of managing and building a life for yourself. And I'm choosing these words very carefully because, some losses are so horrific. I've worked with clients who, maybe have lost multiple members of their family through a car accident or something, and they feel pretty alone and pretty much like their life as they knew it before is over. So when that happens, grief becomes complicated immediately because you are suffering on many different levels of, I want to say forgiveness too. So forgiveness is a big piece of it. So if you're carrying around a lot of that bitterness and anger and emotional investment in this, and it happened a decade ago, then you really want to be able to put forward the energy to heal from it. And working maybe with a counselor, maybe with a life coach like myself, will give you that opportunity to really focus on how this loss has affected you over a long period of time, and why you've not been able to rebuild, a sense of community in a different way in your life. So this may sound somewhat abstract, but I think if you have suffered a loss in your life that's really significant, then you probably know what I'm talking about. It's just so important to be able to find the support and be able to work with someone, or maybe do it on your own, but to be able to address it in an intensive way so that pieces don't start to fall through the cracks, and you begin to lose other things in your life too that are important to you. So I hope that helps a little bit. Complicated grief is complicated because it typically shows up in many parts of our life, our professional life, our personal life, many different areas.